Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Again a Craft. Today we're going to do something completely different. In this video, we are going to go through some of your comments, or actually some of your tips and advices you left in the comment sections of some of my videos. Because we are a great community here on Again a Craft. We like to share our experiments and share our experiences with each other. And back in the day, when I did my first video about the scammy way of influencers on epoxy resin, trying to sell you every kind of knickknack and this and that, I decided that I want to bring this community together a little bit more because there were hundreds upon hundreds of tips and comments in the comment section of these videos, which were like valued in gold. Like it could save someone hundreds upon thousands of dollars or a failed project or something like that. And it's really hard to parse through the comment section of YouTube. So what I decided is to go through the comment section myself, or at least some of it, and try to make a video out of it to share it with you. So if this video goes well, and if you guys like this, I think I will make more of it because there's just so much experience and knowledge you have shared with me or with the other viewers that I strongly think that we have something here. And if I can be the voice who say these things out loud, I'm happy to take on this mantle. And today I was planning to do a making video, but I woke up sore and I can't lift my left arm above my shoulder because I slept bad. Yeah, look, my tape is on the B side already, so I should expect this to happen often. Anyway, let's get through some of your comments. Let's. I wanted to try to make this a 10-minute video and go through some of your comments. Okay, now, Little Miscellaneous says, make your own alcohol inks with 99% isopropyl alcohol and permanent markers. Remove the cores and tips from the markers and drop them in a bottle in a bottles of alcohol. I like to close the bottles up and leave them for a day or two, then put my colors into needle tip bottles for use. If you have some left, keep it for your next batch. It works wonderfully. Now, we did an experiment on this on our first live stream, and it works great. Needle tip bottles, amazing. You can like control the drips. Now, something else I would add to this, it's a hit and miss. What I didn't mean it that way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it depends on the dye or the coloring in the alcohol marker. So it depends on what kind of coloring they used in the alcohol marker. Which, okay, what I mean by it is some of the alcohol markers, if you put them in epoxy, like the alcohol dye you make from the marker, if you put them in epoxy, after a while it fades and disappears. It is due to UV because it's reactive to UV and heat. Okay, so experiment with that. Make sure you test it, and the less alcohol you put in, the more solid the color you get. And if the alcohol evaporates from the juice you made or the dye you made, don't worry about it. You excuse me. You add alcohol to it again, mix it up, and there you have it. Your dye is ready to go again. So yeah, that's what I would add to it as well. But apart from that, yeah, isopropyl alcohol, get the permanent marker, alcohol marker. Okay, so highlighter doesn't work. Highlighter fades. Oh my God, like people going into the street where you shouldn't go inside, with the white line. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. This is what happens when you have coffee, ADHD, and you want to make a video about something. Life. Thank you for staying and not clicking away this video. Okay, so yeah, so that works very well. What I meant, highlighters, yes. So felt tip markers and highlighters tend to be heat sensitive and UV sensitive. If you put like these UV highlighters, the Faber-Castell highlighters in alcohol, and you try to use them as dyes, it will not work. It will fade out due to UV. So if you want to use markers, alcohol-based markers, you sniff it, you get high. The stuff you shouldn't sniff. That's the one. Mix that with alcohol. Okay. Next comment is from Nancy K 9112. Nancy says, I have dollar store eye makeup that also works as color or shimmer in resin. Yes. Probably we got like 150, 200 comments on use dollar store eye makeup because it is the same mica what you have in the mica powders for resin and so on and so on. So yes, that is true. Okay. You can use that to color. You can use that to do your little arts, or you can use it in bulk if you do bigger stuff like I do here. You need to make sure that when you are using dollar store makeup, you chop it up really fine or pulverize it, or you mix it in with baby powder or something dry stuff. Some of the eyeshadows are mixed in with not grease, but some kind of a material like Vaseline, and is made out of crude oil. So it's like artificial grease, if you know what I mean. To stay together, not to fall apart. So if you want to use that, it will be a paste. So if you want to use that, how I would do it is I don't know how you call this in cooking, but sometimes if you want to thicken a stew, you put some of the stew in flour in a pot and you mix that in, and you make an emulsion and you put that into the food to make it thicker. Exactly what you would do with these chopped up mica bits. You put that in a pot, you put epoxy in it, and you mix it until you get a paste based of epoxy, and then you pour that into the higher volume of epoxy, and you mix that in, and it will mix in better. Because sometimes I don't have that piece here, but I tried to make a soap holder with this back in the day, and it left little bits in it. And after that, I came up with this idea. So this works too. Okay, 8 minutes in, and I only done two. My God, it might be a longer video. Ellen Smith 477 says, I have used Vaseline as mold release. Put it on and wipe off the excess. For mold, I have used cheap plastic balls. Thanks for the info. Yes, Vaseline also versus mold release technically is the same crude oil product as silicone. Nah, well, not same, but similar. Anyway, I don't want to bullshit you. I don't want to pull information out of my ass. So yeah, Vaseline works great actually because it doesn't dissolve in epoxy resin. So yeah, give that a go. That might work for you too. For mold, I have used cheap plastic balls. On that note, when you're using cheap plastic balls, make sure that cheap plastic ball has some thickness to it, because I did that and I failed miserably because it was that cheap, very cheap, thinner than food container. You know that squishy plastic shit. And I poured the deep one in it and heated up. Didn't flash cure, but it was hot to the touch, and the whole thing got like deformed. So make sure when you use bowls or plastic containers, it's thick so it can hold heat or dissipate heat better. You know what I mean. Right. Okay. Next up, Dead Polymers 3416. I love that name. He or she says, I used acrylic paint to tint my resin. Can get a little bottle for $5, and the bottle will last for ages. My only warning is to add the paint after you mix the resin. If you add it while mixing the resin, you can throw off the ratio and the resin won't set up correctly. 100% true. I did coasters with this technique, and my coasters were flimsy after 3 months. And I did the same thing after mixing it in, like the epoxy. So basically, if you put the dye, if you put the acrylic paint into the resin before you mix the two components, you put a barrier between the two components so that it's like wearing a condom. I'll let you figure out the rest. But yeah, mix first, then color. Always, not just with the acrylic dyes, always mix first, then color. Doesn't fucking matter what you put in it. Right. Next up. Oh yeah, and also don't put too much acrylic paint in it. Okay, put a little. Put a little bit more, but like don't like 0.1% of the volume or 0.5% of the volume maximum. Because if you put too much in it, that will throw off the mix as well. Won't cure. All right. Next up, Bonaro 2K2 says, thanks for the info. I've been trying different techniques. Appreciate the tips. Request. Tips on pouring layers on deeper pour, say 2 inches. How long should we wait between layers? Also, best, cheap, fastest way to remove bubbles. Okay, okay. So let's start with pouring layers, okay? Because that was your main question. How long you should wait? Well, as you probably saw in my other videos, I always fuck it up because sometimes I'm too impatient and sometimes I'm way too patient. So you should wait until you put your finger on the epoxy and it's sticky to the touch, doesn't leave residue on your fingers, but leaves your fingerprint imprint in the epoxy. If it leaves residue on your finger, don't. You should wear gloves. Beside the point. If it is on your finger, don't pour over it because it will dissolve the previous layer a little bit. And if you have put anything in that epoxy, it will float up. I did that with the pistachio tray. It was a mess. Also, don't wait too long because then you have to scuff it up. And if it's a gummy bear consistency, it will create. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? A layer line. Oh yeah, you can see it there. This is what we'll create. So somewhere in between. Okay. Now, best, cheapest, fastest way to remove bubbles. Temperature. Try to work over 20 degrees Celsius and under 30 degrees Celsius, because then you're gonna have a consistency of the epoxy that the bubbles can fly up or float up or fly. Go up to the top. English, not my first language, but you know that by now. Best was I use 3 kind of methods to remove bubbles: blowtorch flame, heat gun, and isopropyl alcohol. I use isopropyl alcohol when I don't want to use too much heat or I don't want to move the epoxy. I use it in freshly after I poured it out. I don't use it at the end. Only use it in the beginning. Freshly after I pour it out, I literally spray like a millimeter thick coat of alcohol on top of the epoxy. So when the bubbles come up, they immediately pop. That worked for me with my epoxy. Okay, so it might not work with yours. Heat gun, I use heat gun when I'm afraid of flash curing, so I have more bubbles to take care of, so I have to move slowly, more controlled when I have more bubbles. I'm gonna show this to you. Horsey! Look, horsey! I love this. You see, I'm working with these distractions around me, and I'm still focusing on being extremely professional. Fuck, where was I? Yeah, heat gun. So I don't. I hate this mic. I don't. I only use heat gun when I have more bubbles in an area and I have to be more careful on moving. Oh my god, it hurts to move. Oh. Anyway, I need a massage or a swim. Anyway, yeah, and I use blowtorch when I want to get rid of bubbles fast and I don't have that thickness to the pour. So if I have a very thin pour and I want to get rid of the bubbles fast, heat gun, blowtorch, zin, 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 out. If it's like thick like this, just the heat gun, go over it once, let the other come up, go over it again, go over it again. Alcohol, I started after I poured, immediately I just, after that I don't, because it will leave marks in the curing epoxy on the top. It will be, can I show it to you somehow? Yeah, I can. You see this? That's alcohol marks because I sprayed alcohol on top. That was actually on purpose because I wanted some texture. Okay, so next up, the Crimson Ghosts. Perfect band name. Someone speaks out my thoughts. Thank you for all the info. You're welcome. I used the same leather dye on a bass guitar that I made, and it looks amazing. Yeah, that fucking leather dye is great. Look what I made with it. Let me show this to you. This is the blue leather dye I used. So I used the vinegar to turn the wood black, and I used the blue dye. This is just amazing. And I varnished it, so it's a cheese board now. All right, now, one question regarding the food dye. How would you create a dense black, if possible at all? Thanks in advance, keep up the good work. Thank you for the kind words and the support. How would I make completely black? I wouldn't use food dye because you need a substantial amount for that, and that will fuck up the mix of the resin. Two things I learned. You can use pure, clean charcoal. Perfect. Works 100% of the time. You can get very fine blacks with it. And the other one is textile dye. And that flows into the other question I had is, have you tried fabric dyes like Reed dye? They are available in a huge variety of colors, quite concentrated and available in liquid and powder forms. I haven't tried it yet, but I heard that it works with epoxy. If you guys want it, I can order some and we could make an experiment with, the the fabric dye. You can buy these little pouches and you put it in the washing machine with the clothing and it turns it black. Let me know if you want to see that. We can do an experiment with that. But yeah, charcoal is 100% times and technically fabric dye. Okay, I just found your channel and subscribed. Thank you. Oh yeah. Oh, it's Marcy. It's our mama Marcy. This was her comment. This was her first comment. I like your rant because, okay, so you need to know Marcy is one of the first members of the channel, and she is always here under every video, in every comment section, and she helps everybody who has questions. So yeah, if you have a question, hit it in the comment section, and probably you're gonna see Marcy around. She's amazing. She's our little angel, and she has her own channel. It's called Marcy's Mystical Madness in one word, or Marcy's Artifarty Creations. I like that one better. Anyway, I have noticed the same. Okay. Other things to help in mold release are spraying cooking spray or using just plain dish soap and warm water. Yes, if you do it in small volume. Dish soap and warm water will not work if you are wanna pour on volume, because that will fuck up the mix as well. However, cooking spray is working because cooking spray has nothing to do with natural oils, has nothing to do with human consumptions. Cooking spray is highly toxic. Don't eat that thing, but you can use it for mold release. Exactly. Yeah, so that's it for this little video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this stuff, you can support me on buymeacoffee.com. You can throw $5 at me, you can throw $10 at me, or you can throw the kitchen sink at me. Something. But that really helps me to keep the lights on and keep the fans going and feed the dogs and go to the vet and repair the car and life. But anyway, yeah, so YouTube algorithm sucks. So if you could like this video and leave a comment under it, that would be great help. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you subscribe during this video and if you like this video at the same time, that will help this video to go on the first page of YouTube where other people can see it. And if they're not throwing up looking at my ugly mug in the thumbnail, then they will probably click the video and that will bring more views. And eventually I can do this for a living or something. Anyway, I really hope you guys got something out of this video. It's already 23 minutes in and I just wanted a 10-minute video. I will try to cut it down next time and be on point. I don't like bloated videos. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, and if you guys want me to curate more of your hacks and tips and tricks, let me know in the comments. Or if you want to change up something in this video, or next time I should do this or that, please don't make me dance. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Let's create this video together because this is a community effort. And I strongly believe that art is for everyone and shouldn't be fucking gatekept. And I'm fighting against it. You are fighting against it with your help and comments. So let's find a way to fight good, efficient, whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I love you guys all. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.